Next up we have Doctor Who. We have been publishing Doctor Who magazine for a very long time, and comic collections of Doctor Who. As you know, Doctor Who magazine goes back to the late 70s, and we've been reprinting all of the comic strip from Doctor Who magazine in comic collections the last 20 years. We now are going to start collecting the absolutely fabulous comic strips from the Doctor Who Adventures comic from the early 2000s. Now, I don't know if any of you guys picked up this comic when you were younger. It was just the most fantastic, wonderful little magazine. It wasn't one that we did at Panini, and I've got to say, I was insanely jealous when we found out the BBC were doing it and we weren't doing it. I mean, at the time, I was the magazine editor on Spider-Man magazine, and every time we got sample copies in and we go in and see the latest copy, there was definitely a bit of like professional jealousy, like, oh, they've done a really good job with this is fantastic. And the comic strips were just superb. You had the same guys that, I mean, basically the same guys that are still working on the Doctor Who comic strip these days. Alan Barnes, you had Jack Rayner, John Ross drawing them. They're just fantastic little stories. They're shorter stories, you know, they're not like the kind of epics that we have in Doctor Who magazine that goes across 5 or 6 issues. They're shorter one-shot stories mostly, but they're really fun little adventures. They capture the vibe of that early kind of Doctor Who when it first came back in the mid-2000s. They really capture that vibe of the fun and the adventure and the excitement that was going on. It's really lovely stuff. So that's the first volume that comes out 1st of September. And we've actually got a special variant cover edition of this book, which we'll be releasing exclusively through the Panini website, and it actually comes out 2 weeks early. And we've got Doctor Who artist Adrian Salmon has drawn that cover. Now, if you guys, Doctor Who fans, if you know Doctor Who magazine or Doctor Who fandom, Adrian's artwork is just synonymous with Doctor Who these days. He drew the fabulous Cyberman strip, one-page Cyberman strips back in the 90s and 2000s, and he's drawn so many illustrations for Doctor Who over the years. So he actually coloured the Doctor Who Adventure strips as well, so we said to him that, you know, we'd love you to do a variant cover, and he's done this beautiful cover with the Doctor and a load of dinosaurs, because, you know, frankly, who doesn't love dinosaurs? Now, that's an early release for this book, for the variant cover. The normal edition goes on sale 1st of September, but the variant cover edition will be early release on the Panini store for 18th of August. It's on pre-order now, so if you want a copy, you can jump onto the Panini website and you can pre-order a copy now, and they're going to be limited edition on the store itself. But yeah, that's our exciting Doctor Who news. Here we go, there's a few of the examples of some of the strips here. I mean, this is, what I love about these strips is they're not only kind of fun little stories, they're kind of weirdly a time capsule of the time. So you've got the Doctor and Rose here. They've gone back to a World War I battlefield, but it's actually being manipulated by these characters called the War Freaks, who are kind of like alien military historians who are spying on battles and stuff. And this absolutely cracked me up the first time I sort of read through it. So you've got Rose here at the bottom, and she's being an angel on the battlefield. Obviously, you can see the inspiration there. The Doctor sort of said to her, like, make a noise, scare them off, sound like an angel. And she's like, oh God, what do I do to be like an angel? So she breaks into Angels by Robbie Williams and starts singing this at the German troops, which obviously terrifies them. I mean, I'm not going to say what that says about Robbie Williams, but it absolutely terrifies them, and they run off. And it's things like that, it kind of like captures very much weird zeitgeist things of the time that you kind of forget about. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. And then here's another story, bonkers Doctor Who stuff, great big monsters, and it turns out the monsters' tears are full of antibiotics which cure a local disease, and it's just crazy little ideas that just work so well in the little 6-page format. Really lovely stuff. I mean, if you're an older Doctor Who fan, you know, you might be like, oh, I'm not going to buy kids comics, but there's so much like little gems in there to enjoy. They're a really lovely read. I thoroughly recommend them.